Man, you know I had to have a beverage right here with me. All right. All right, we are live just in time, baby. Let's get it. Wrong intro. Buckeye Nation. What's poppin'? Crazy Dog coming at you on the Buckin' Crazy YouTube channel with my second edition of my, well, not of my, but of the 2026 College Football Playoff Rankings reveal. Yeah. I know last year I did, like a video going over the rankings. I want to do them live. This way we can all see it together. In fact, while we wait, ACC champion contenders, of course. Quite a few teams are still alive in the ACC. There's a look at the bracket. In fact, while we wait, let's see. Just a quick reminder. Here is what the bracket looked like last week. There's going to be changes. BYU got their butt beat. Yeah, BYU lost. Memphis lost. I believe Virginia lost as well. So yeah, if you're outside looking in, like maybe Texas, hard to say. There's going to be quite a few teams jumping in the rankings now. Okay, what I'm going to do, I'm going to, where's the share? I'm going to let the people know on the main channel that I am live on this channel. Live on the Buckeye channel, reacting to the second edition of the CFB rankings. Playoff. Whoop. Come on, fat finger. Playoff rankings. Come through and let's chill. And I'm going to put a little thumbs up emoji. Hell yeah, there we are. There. People probably didn't even know I had a Buckeye channel. Now they know. Obviously, this channel is about going on 2 years old now. Just over 2 years. In fact, I remember I made this channel right after the Buckeyes landed the commitment of Justin Scott. And we all saw what happened there, right? He ended up flipping. Now, while we wait for the rankings to be revealed, let's talk about recruiting. Because, we are officially going on 3 weeks away from National Signing Day. There's going to be a lot of things going down. But again, there's the 12-team playoff, I guess, format. 12 teams, obviously. 5 highest ranked conference champions and the next 7 highest ranked teams. 4 highest ranked teams will be seeded 1 to 4 and receive first round byes. 8 teams seeded 5 to 12 will play in the first round, with higher seeds hosting home games. And man, watching last year, seeing a playoff game at the Shoe, it was on another level. So we're going to jump right into it. And Cincinnati has jumped into the top 25. They are coming in at 25, 7-2. The Bearcats peeking their head into the rankings. 24, also not ranked from last week. South Florida. I would not be shocked if they were the highest ranked power group of 5, excuse me. That's actually crazy. Wow. South Florida, 24. Again, they beat Memphis. So unless James Madison is in the top 23, I think South Florida would be representing the group of 5. That's a team that beat Florida, remember. Which isn't saying much nowadays. 23 have Tennessee, 6-3. 23, Tennessee, 6-3. They jumped up 2 spots. Comes in at 22, at 7-2. They also jumped up 2 spots. Of course, Pitt is still in the running for the ACC championship. They got Notre Dame coming up. And man, not going to lie, I would love nothing more than to see Pittsburgh beat the hell out of Notre Dame. Will it happen? No. Iowa is at 21. They drop a spot after losing to Oregon. 6-3 on the year. Big Ten title hopes. Pretty much, I think, a long shot with only 3 games left. In fact, let me pull up the standings here and we'll go through how things could shape up as well. 20 is Louisville dropped 5 spots. Ugh. And again, let's pull up the bracket from last week. So yeah, BYU hasn't been mentioned yet. There's Virginia. They dropped to 19. Okay. I don't think Memphis would drop that far, right? Team up north is 18. They jump up 3 spots. Here's what I'm looking for. Here's last week's top 25. So Pitt jumps up. Tennessee jumps up. No Washington yet. I think they lost. Mizzou, yeah. Team up north's up to 18 from 21. USC, they're up 2 to 17. Virginia dropped from 14 to 19. Okay. Georgia Tech's up 1 spot to 16, which is where Vandy was last week. Vandy probably jumped all the way up. Miami, same thing too, probably, because they were 18, so they jumped up. And now we got top 15, and speak of the devil, there's Miami. Jumped to 15. I mean, they beat Syracuse, which Syracuse, they're not that good this year. Starting quarterback went out early in the year, and yeah, this haven't been the same. Vibes are just not that great around that team right now. Still a good team, though. All right, top 14. Yeah, I think South Florida is going to be the group of 5 team. And again, remember, you see Memphis is not even on here. So just the fact that, and there's Vanderbilt, they're 14, they jump up 2 spots. That's where Virginia was last week. Utah, they stay put. Wow, how about that? They stay put. I don't know did they play last week? They might have been idle. I don't know. But they stayed put. Yeah, they must have been idle because they're not showing highlights from their game last week. That's when they got stomped I believe by. Oh no, they faced Cincinnati a few weeks ago. All right, top 12 coming up. We're still waiting on Oklahoma and Texas. BYU drops 5 spots to 12. Ooh. Wow. And there's Oklahoma. They jump up only 1 spot. I expect probably the same thing for Texas. But we'll see. So there's your top 11. Now it's to the top 10. Texas is in 10th now. So we'll see. We still haven't really, I think all the teams have pretty much been mentioned so far. Memphis obviously wasn't even in it. Missouri, bye-bye. With Washington, goodbye. Iowa, as you know, dropped. Texas up 1 spot, but they're 10th now. They're 7-2. Number 9, Notre Dame. They beat down Navy again, and they jump up 1 spot to 9th. Number 8 is Oregon. They jump up a spot. So it's really just everyone jumping up a spot for the most part after 13, because Utah stayed put. So this is where BYU would have been, but they dropped because they lost. Ole Miss drops down a spot despite winning. But I mean, they beat Citadel. Oh, Citadel. Oh. Texas Tech jumps up 2 spots after pummeling BYU. I mean, they shut down the Mormons. Only sad part is we wouldn't get a Mormons versus Catholics matchup. That's tough, man. That's tough. Been an interesting week on NCAA Twitter, that's for sure. Those 2 Twitter fan bases going at each other would be interesting. 2 different religious ideologies going at each other too. Catholics versus Mormons. All right. Number 5 is Georgia. They stay put. I don't expect any movement in the top 5 unless they get on freaking Indiana and put them 1 because they barely beat a 3-win Penn State team. Yeah, there's no movement so far in the top 5. Top 4 is probably going to be the same. Yep, there's A&M. And I expect Indiana to be number 2 unless they go gawk. Are we getting the gawk or no? Gawk or no? If they put Indiana at 1 because they beat a 3-win Penn State team. Meanwhile, we did really well against Purdue. All right, number 2, Indiana. And number 1, Ohio State. So no movement at all in the top 5. And very little movement in the bottom 5. So, yeah, top 4 is still the same. There's the bracket. First 2 out, BYU and Oklahoma. So as you see, South Florida would be in because they're the highest ranked team now. Miami, Texas, Notre Dame. So really, there's only what? 2 new faces? 2? Yeah. No, 3. Because Miami's in there now. Oh, God. Miami, Texas, and South Florida. As you see, again, we go back to the bracket from last week. You replace Memphis, Virginia, and BYU with Texas, Miami, and South Florida. So there's the home teams: Georgia, Oregon, Texas Tech, and Ole Miss. We would face Oregon winner. That's the first 4, and then the last 4. Would it be Notre Dame, Oregon? Yeah. South Florida, Georgia, Notre Dame, Oregon, Miami, Texas Tech, Battle of the Money, Texas and Ole Miss. Ooh. Lane Kiffin versus Sarkisian. That would be a banger. I would have to stream that game. I would 100% have to stream that game. Just like Notre Dame and Oregon. Wait, man. Wow. I would have to stream that game. That would be fun. Oregon, Notre Dame would be a good one, right? But man, Ole Miss and Texas, Texas Tech and Miami, right? Both teams, they be flexing the money. Here comes the money. Here comes the money. Money, 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 money. That's a lot of money in that, and those two programs. Gee whiz. Ohio State's losing to App State in basketball. No way. They would be the next one to fall victim to a bye game, pretty much. So, yeah, I expect utter chaos. Wow. Georgia, okay. Wouldn't face Alabama though. Ooh, God, that's a team Georgia does not want to see again. Texas A&M would face Texas Tech and Miami. That's like the money. It's the money part of the bracket right there. Texas Ole Miss versus Indiana. 3 coaches with big mouths. Imagine that though, right? Bottom part of the bracket, you'd have Texas and Ole Miss and Indiana. What do those 3 teams have in common? All 3 coaches have ginormous egos and massive mouths that run their yapper way too freaking much. That's the bulletin board material side of the bracket. Just imagine the coach-led trash talk between those 3 teams. Sarkisian and Kiffin, they'd be trolling each other. They'll be talking that slick shit tomorrow to each other via the media, right? You know they would. I think they share the same agent too. Oh God! And then, Mister Google me, I win. Google me, yeah. Google you getting your butt beat. But of course, I think if that actually happens, I think Ole Miss could beat Texas and then probably destroy Indiana. Because in my opinion, Lane Kiffin, he's gonna be doing this stuff, knowing that this is probably his last run at Ole Miss. He's probably gonna go to Florida after, right? And I'm telling you right now, let's take a little look, okay? Because let's just be devil's advocate here, okay? Say Lane Kiffin dips and goes to Florida. You know what that means? The transfer portal gates open for Ole Miss. And if there's one thing Ohio State loves to do, they haven't done it in a couple years now, it's get transfers from Ole Miss. But you look at their team. Let's go down to their roster real quick here. So again, I mean, I'm not saying, pillage their roster. But if you want to spend big money, you want to be serious as Ohio State. We have Tyrone Malone, we have Davison, we had Quinshawn. If I'm Ryan Day and I'm trying to get a player from Ole Miss, I'm telling them, yo, you want to know how it is in Columbus? Hit up your boy Davison, Tyrone, or Q. They'll tell you how it is. They'll tell you exactly how we do things. So who would you want from Ole Miss? Juwan Lacey, the running back. He's only a sophomore transfer. I would love to have him on the squad. Not receivers. I'm looking at the defense though, for sure. I mean, that's tough because a lot of their guys are transfers. Like upperclassmen. If you need a pass rusher, I mean, you could probably go like Suntarine Perkins, Prince Will, if he doesn't go draft. John Womack. Nah, he ain't gonna jump twice. Cam Franklin? Will Eccles? I mean, that's tough. I think if we were to address the defense in the portal, it would be D-line and secondary. The linebacking core is solid right now. That's if Lane Kiffin even leaves. No guarantee he will. OSU Ole Miss finals. Oh my God. Could you just imagine? Because flashback, when we got Q, freaking Lane Kiffin was on social media running his gums talking about how much Ohio State spends in the transfer portal, even though Ole Miss has notoriously spent buku bucks in the portal every year. I would just love nothing more than to face Ole Miss and have us stomp their teeth down their throat. And then I want Ryan Day to look at Lane, and as they're going to a handshake and we beat him for the natty, I need Ryan to whisper in Lane's ear, 20 million. Bitch. Man, that's tough. Lane Kiffin, pocket watcher. I'm telling you, if that actually were to happen, you would get a side of the bracket where literally Ole Miss, Texas, and Indiana, all three coaches would be just talking trash, just unloading like dump trucks worth of bulletin board material. You would be able to fill this wall end to end with news clippings and stuff from the stuff that they say because they run their mouth so freaking much. That's why I like Ryan Day. He doesn't run his mouth. He keeps it chill. He keeps it chill. And I'll tell you one thing. Talk trash about him. Because let me tell you something. Ryan Day catches wind of a coach talking ish about him or his team. Petty Ryan Day comes out, and if I know anything about Petty Ryan Day, because usually he keeps it cordial, he's very, he doesn't really get too aggressive this time of year. He kind of eases it off. We're in coast mode. Just get through the game, utilize your depth, get these youngsters some game time, But man, if he catches you talking shit about his team or him in general, oh my God, Petty Ryan Day comes out. And if you want to know an example of Petty Ryan Day, go back to that Maryland game in 2019, 2020? Onside kick on the opening kickoff. Well, I think, or maybe it was after we scored. My dude did an onside kick where he kicked it. It didn't bounce. It went straight in the air, and he had one of his gunners bolting down the field, and he caught it. Kept us with the ball. I'm like, man, that is crazy. Fun part was I wasn't even able to watch that game because, believe it or not, I was at work that day. Yeah. Well, it's going to be interesting, right? Of course, not only do we have to deal with the CFB playoff, so the transfer portal opens up, I think, shortly after everything gets going in January. So imagine being a coach. You have to juggle recruiting, right? Let me actually see when the portal opens because I'm pretty sure it's in January. It's a one-time thing this year. They used to have two portals, one in the winter, the usual one, and then one in the spring after spring ball. Well, NCAA. And of course, they added another rule for the transfer portal where you can't enter the portal until like a few days after your team hires a new coach. It's essentially saying, see who your team hires and see if you like them or not. Right? Transfer portal start date. All right. So January 2nd, and it closes January 16th. So that would be pretty much right in the heart of the CF like bowl season. Wow. In fact, let me take a look. But again, there's the bracket. South Florida, Georgia. In Georgia, winner faces Alabama. Then you have Notre Dame, Oregon. Winner faces Ohio State. Oh God, imagine that. Miami, Texas Tech. Winner faces Texas A&M. That's a lot of money invested in those rosters. And then you have the Texas Ole Miss matchup to face Indiana. It's a lot of trash talkers in that trio. All right. Oh yeah, I was gonna look at the schedule. Here we go. Lenore Sellers. Oh, I see what he's saying. Okay. Tempted by Blue Bloods. C.J. Bailey. Jeremiah Smith's high school quarterback. Huh. If we didn't have Julian Sane, I'd have been like, hell yeah. But Julian's a dog. Kenny Minchie? Jaden Baugh? Man, I need us to go after Jaden Baugh, if possible. Darius Taylor at Minnesota. Cam Coleman. Don't go after receivers in the portal. Nick Harbor, same thing. Seaton, he ain't leaving Colorado. That fan base over there, YouTube University, they would have a fit if he left. Luke Reynolds, tight end, Penn State. I don't think so. Nah. All right. So let's take a look. January 2nd. Yeah, it would be in the middle of the CFP. Yep. It would be right in the heart of the CFP. So January 2nd would be right after, it would literally open up the day after the quarterfinals are done on New Year's Day. Because you'd have the what's this, the Orange Bowl? Yeah, Orange Bowl, Rose Bowl, and the Sugar Bowl. And then the very next day, the transfer portal opens, which means teams that lose in those quarterfinal matches, they're going to be busy as hell the next day because the portal opens up. And then, of course, you have the 8th and then the 9th. And then it'll close before the national championship. I believe it opens up 5 days for teams that were eliminated. I think that rule still exists. Not sure though. Guess we'll find out. If I had to make a list as to what positions Ohio State will go after in the portal, I think it's safe to say running back for sure, because the guy they got this year, he ain't really doing it. Nope. Like I've said previously, I mean, sometimes you get what you pay for. We paid for a middle tier, low tier running back, kind of like a Dollar General great value version of whatever we wanted, and they cheaped out. They could have had Justice Haynes. They could have got the kid that went to USC that got hurt, I think it was. They could have had him. They were fully interested in him too. They ended up with CJ Donaldson. And I'm not saying Donaldson's a bum, but like he ain't Quinshawn, that's for damn sure. And based off how we've been acting on the trail, I wonder if we could act like this in the portal too. Like if we want somebody, go get him. Get him. Who's stopping you? Now keep in mind, when I say the portal is open, that's just to enter the portal. It doesn't open and close on that day. Man, these teams would be screwed. It'd be like NFL free agency if that happened. Players wouldn't have time to go evaluate. There'd have to be a lot of under the table exchanges and stuff going on during the season. It's just to enter the portal. You can commit anytime. Most notably, of course, you'd probably want to do it during winter break. So then when the kids come back to school, you can start up with them. I mean, I'm sure the teachers would understand. Right? If I'm a teacher at a university and I'm teaching a class and one day one kid disappears, then the very next day like two or three other kids pop up, I'd be like, let me guess, transfer portal? They'd go, yep. It's like, come to class. Where'd you guys come from? They'd tell me and I'd be like, it's cool. That's cool. That's cool. I wouldn't even be mad. I'd just be like, let me guess, transfer portal? That's got to be tough though. Transfer portal stuff during the school year. That's another thing people don't realize. You got to freaking move during the school year. Move out of your dorm or out of your place. You got to deal with the rent stuff that you got with your roommates. And then you got to move, possibly in some cases, clear across the country and restart everything in your new spot. Yeah, that's tough. Right. But hey, that's the way it is now. Like I'm old enough to remember when, if you wanted to transfer, you had to sit out a year. Remember how that went? Unless you had a waiver. Nowadays, it's like NFL free agency. It's going to be chaos like last year, this year too. But yeah, I just figured I'd come on here and do a reaction to the rankings and the bracket reveal. Again, Ohio State still the #1 seed as expected. I'm happy the committee didn't go gawk 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 on freaking Indiana after they barely beat 3-win Penn State. Yeah, I mean, been just classic committee. But hey, it is what it is, right? It is what it is. Oh no, Ohio State's winning. At the buzzer, Bruce Thornton. Ah. Okay, let me get the bracket for you guys here. Oh wow, G-Fed's at the Yum Center for Louisville. Wow. Man, this is gonna be a fun final 3 or so weeks, man. It's gonna be fun. Yep. We'll be doing this again next week, of course. By the way, for the AP poll for week 12, there's actually it's actually pretty damn similar. It's all the same teams. Only difference is there's only like one difference in between the polls. Oregon in the CFP poll, they're 8th. In the AP poll, they're 7th. Actually, in Texas and Texas Tech. Tech is 8th in the AP poll and 6th in the CFP. All right, so let's get the bracket for you guys too here. So we got the CFP bracket. Let's I gotta rename it something different. Let's rename it 2. And then we got the rankings. There we go. All right, first off, of course, like always, we got to take a look at the rankings. So we go there. All right, let's put in the ting. There we are. Okay. All right, so here's the rankings for this week. And again, some new faces on there. The bottom, Cincinnati, of course, USF, Missouri, notably gone, as it's one of the only teams I think that's fully just out of the bracket in general. A lot of teams just dropped. I think Missouri is one of the only ones that legit just dropped all the way out. Excuse me, though. Oh yeah. Oh man. All right, and then here's the bracket. Let me actually minimize it. All right. Put it right over, just over Ryan Day's face. So there's the bracket. Ohio State would face Notre Dame and Oregon. USF and Georgia would face off to face Alabama. Texas Ole Miss would face Indiana. Like I said, that's the talking bracket right there. There's a lot of talkers over there. And then, of course, you have the big money side of the bracket with Miami U, Texas Tech, and Texas A&M. Imagine all the money thrown around on those 3 rosters over the years, especially A&M. There was a year they literally bought the #1 class in the country, recruiting wise. That's just on the trail. That class would wind up blowing up in their face. Now you may be wondering, who was the architect for that class? Oh yeah, none other than Ross Bjork, who is now the AD for Ohio State. But it's pretty clear Ohio State doesn't have the funds that Texas A&M does. If they did, oh God help the country, man. I tell you that much when it comes to football. Oh my God, we would have a top player. You see what Texas Tech has done for the class of 26, right? That would be us right now if Bjork had that funding that he did in A&M. Seriously. If we were doing what Texas Tech is doing now, or what they're doing for the class of 26, for this, whatever, Yeah, we would have like a top tier class, best class in the country, multiple 5 stars. Ohio State's being cautious with it. They're not going out throwing money at everybody. Because as we've seen this year in the portal, it just hasn't worked out. Luckily, we have been so good at recruiting, it doesn't affect us. Because there's teams where that would happen and they'd be done for. So that is pretty much going to wrap it up for this video. And I might have another video out soon. Maybe, I don't know if I'm going to do a video. I might just talk about, maybe give like a little class prediction. Because I saw Alex Gleitman, who covers the Buckeyes for On3. He did a class prediction. I might do something like that maybe tomorrow or something. But yeah, that's pretty much going to wrap it up for this video. Shout out to Fox for popping in. Shout out to everyone for watching. I'm going to watch some action right now because that's what I do. I'm a psychopath, you know. And I'll see y'all probably, unless we get more booms, which you never know. But unless we get any more booms, I'll be back on this channel on Friday for my preview video. So, as always, be sure to hit the like button, subscribe, hit the bell to turn on post notifications, especially this time of year. That's very important. So you know when I go live, like now, or when I post new videos. Especially with, signing day coming up and transfer portal opening in a few months. So that's gonna be it. I'm Crazy Dog coming at you on the Buckin' Crazy YouTube channel. Let's go Bucks. Still number 1. Still undefeated. Still world famous. I'll see you guys later. Go Bucks. OH. I'm out. Bye-bye. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Go Bucks. Beat freaking UCLA, right? Hell yeah. Bye-bye.